Hi everyone, welcome to YouTube Talk with MagicCatJenny. I'm MagicCatJenny, and today I am joined by Gillette.
Hi.
So, YouTube Talk is the live show slash podcast slash Twitter account that's all about YouTube and the YouTube community because I love to spread the love. This is the first episode, so what the show is going to be about, it's a live show on YouTube, it's going to be a downloadable podcast, and a conversation on Twitter. So we're using Google Hangouts to the show on my channel, MagicCatJenny, right now. It will also be available on SoundCloud.com/YouTube and other podcast places. And in between episodes, we'll be hanging out at YT Talk Podcast on Twitter. So what is this show? It's all about YouTube, the platform, the art form, the business, the pastime, and the people, the creators. There's no maximum or minimum sub count that I'm looking for, though I do want to shine a light on smaller YouTubers, which is why my very first guest, Gillette, welcome. She's great,
Hi.
perfect for this conversation. Tell us a bit about your channel and especially your show BAM.
So I am kind of a vlogger, I guess. I do a lot of vlog videos, and I also do a lot of how-to videos. But a series that I run on my channel is called BAM, and it's all about the small YouTube community. And my main goal in it is just trying to help strengthen the small YouTube community and introduce small YouTubers to other small YouTubers, and also kind of help people find their smaller channels to watch.
Yeah, that's so great. When I was pitching this idea to some of my friends, that my idea for this show, they actually mentioned your show, saying, "Oh, wow, that sounds kind of similar to what Echo does. You should go check out BAM." And I
Yeah, I
thought,
love this
oh
kind of
man,
stuff.
it's so great. It's so great. Because I love finding channels that are very difficult to find because they're so small and because they don't get featured on YouTube or anything like that. Just you kind of have to find them through other people, word of mouth.
Yeah,
But it's really great. So let's show a small clip from your pilot episode of BAM.
so long ago.
Yeah. Um, all right, Jim, why don't you roll the clip?
The small YouTube community is huge and it's just getting bigger, but finding good or relatable small YouTube channels is really hard when they're lost in this sea of pre-established YouTubers' videos. And at the same time, getting exposure as a small YouTuber is extremely difficult.
Awesome. That's from your pilot episode, right?
Yeah, that's so weird. It was so long ago.
That's awesome. So now on your show, you talk about a few different YouTubers, and then you screen some of their videos, and that's really great. How do you find some of these people?
I have a lot of kind of methods for finding small YouTubers. A big one that I use is looking for the small YouTuber tag, which is always really interesting and that's another one that it's good to take clips from because they explain why they started YouTube and how they feel about it and
Yeah.
just how they are as YouTubers and everything like that.
Yeah, that's
And
cool.
then, oh my gosh, I have so many methods for finding small YouTubers. A lot of it is word of mouth. I also, on the end of the BAM videos, I put up an email so in case people want to message me, or they can put it in my comments or in like the YouTube messaging system if they might want to be featured, which is always really cool.
Nice. Yeah, that's really cool. I did that tag just
I
last
noticed
Thursday,
that.
which
I
was
still should go
fun.
watch it.
Yeah, so here's a question. What makes a small YouTuber small? Is there a subscriber cutoff? Is there a moment when you stop becoming a small YouTuber and become a big YouTuber? What exactly is the definition in your
Personally, personally, I feel like it's transition, and it's also a combination of things, not just subscriber count, but also like views, how interactive you are in terms of the YouTube community. And I feel like instinctively a lot of people immediately look towards sub count, and then I've heard different people consider like the cutoff for it at different points. I've heard one person say that anything under 1,000 is considered a small YouTuber, anything under 30,000 is considered a small YouTuber, and then I've heard one person say that anything under 100,000 is small because that's when YouTube or like Google technically acknowledges you as a YouTuber, and they
Yeah,
send you like the silver play button.
exactly. Yeah. I think a lot of it has to do with perspective, obviously, and I do think brands and networks and bigger organizations definitely 100,000's probably under that they consider small. But then yeah, you can have someone who just started a YouTube channel, so someone with 100 subscribers is, oh wow, that's something.
Yeah, it really does depend on how many, because like I'll see people with 30,000 and I'll think, oh my god, that's so many subscribers, and then I know people who look at my channel and see that I have a couple thousand, so they'll think that I'm like a huge YouTuber. So it really just depends on, I guess, your own perspective
Yeah.
and like where you are in that spectrum.
Yeah, and again, like I don't think subscriber is the main
Yeah,
main
it's really
thing.
not the defining characteristic
Yeah,
of.
yeah, it's a combination of that, but then also your video views and how many people comment. I think that's another thing that brands are actually
Yeah,
starting to take note of, that, oh, okay, it's about, it's about their connection with their audience and how
and how
strong
interactive
that is.
everything is.
Yeah, yeah, it's
For sure.
interesting.
Because I've seen channels that have a lot of subscribers, but their videos will maybe have like a couple hundred views,
Mhm.
and it's just one of those things where it's like the channel is not very interactive.
Yeah,
That makes
yeah, it
sense.
definitely can fluctuate too. There's never like a, certain places where you would put people and they always stay there. There's definitely like, one week someone with a bunch of subscribers could have very little views, and then the next it like switches, and it's especially like when you get really into like the earlier starting YouTubers, sometimes you have like one breakout video, but that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody's watching all the rest of your videos, but then maybe it will over time depending on what you do with it. So it's this term small YouTuber is definitely very relative, and it's almost a personal sort of
Yeah,
feeling. Like, do you feel like a small YouTuber, and do you feel like that's the community that you belong with? And for me, I think it's a great community, especially because a lot of the small YouTuber and people that identify as that want to help each other out, and are very supportive.
yeah. I feel like I've seen some people also consider it like when you are capable of making enough money off of YouTube to survive. So having YouTube
Yeah.
become your job makes you a real YouTuber or a big
Yeah.
YouTuber.
And if that's the case, then the number is pretty high, I would say, for the
Yeah,
cutoff, I guess, because there's people, it takes a lot for that to actually become your main source of income. So
yeah,
then
it
there's a
does.
lot of small YouTubers if that's it.
Yeah, it's like there's so many different ways that you could technically define it, but
Yeah. Yeah,
you
it's
know,
just it's more a community at this point. At least that's
yeah,
what I'm hoping it develops into even more. That's the idea of all these panels that have been existing. The smaller channels panel that I was on in Playlist Live, the less than famous panels at VidCon. There's
yeah. I
also a
love that they're
small
doing that
channel.
now. That
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
actually acknowledging smaller YouTubers. That it's not
yeah,
just taking the highest of subscribers and view counts and the most
yeah.
popular ones and then reinforcing
Yeah, the
their.
gap is just getting wider between, a viewer and a creator, but I think the smaller community is trying to either bridge that gap or at least, fill in that space, saying, we're not mega YouTube famous, but we're creating things and we're serious about it, and it's more than just,
Yeah.
we're not just fans, I
Yeah,
guess.
I love it when YouTubers are actually active in the YouTube community and doing things like this and just
Mhm.
talking to people. Like that's really, to me, that is the best way to be like active in the YouTube community. Sorry, I keep
Yeah.
using air quotes, but to just talk to people and just make YouTube
Yeah.
friends.
Definitely. I was a part of a show in, I think it was in 2013, from YouTube user Lampshade. I tried contacting her, but I couldn't get a hold of her, so we won't screen the clip right here, but it will be in the playlist of all the videos that we're talking about today. And she did a show called What is a YouTuber? And it was a few different episodes, and she basically would send out an email to everyone involved saying, hey, here's the question for this episode, film yourself answering it, send it to me, and she edited them in to different videos, and it was really cool because you got to hear a bunch of different opinions from people about what is a YouTuber, why is YouTube the place to be, do you even like that term? And it was really interesting because not everybody had the same answer. And
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of controversy showing up just a little bit about being called a YouTuber now,
mhm.
just slightly.
Yeah, it's definitely a term that not everybody likes, or it means something different to different people. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I just feel like it's slightly becoming a kind of controversial term. Some people prefer like content creator, some people prefer to be called a YouTuber.
yeah, or filmmaker, movie maker. You
Yeah.
not technically film, but you're making movies, you're creating art, so some people like that instead. Um, Actually, why don't you talk about Gabriel and his video that we're going to show
Yes.
you that's related?
Gabriel Oh, sorry. Gabriel Hurdy he's one of my personal favorite small YouTubers, and a while back there was a hashtag trending on Twitter, which was YouTube Fandom Honesty Hour, and a bunch of just fans of YouTube or YouTubers were just saying something, how they honestly felt about YouTube and how it is now, what it's become, and everything like that. So he decided to take it one step further and actually make a video out of it because, like 100 something characters is kind of hard to fit a lot of opinions in.
Hmm.
He made a beautiful video about his opinions on YouTube at the moment.
Awesome. Why don't we screen a short clip?
When you ask yourself, who is John Green? You don't think, oh, he's a YouTuber. You think, he's John Green. He writes. He makes videos. That's what I want to be. I want to be someone, not a label, because once I'm labeled, apparently I have to stay inside that box, and I don't want that. I hope I am making sense because things are messy inside my mind.
Nice.
Yeah, his videos are fantastic and they're beautifully composed and edited. He's really cool as a YouTuber or as a content creator.
Yeah, I watched a few of his and I really like him. They're really cool the way he talks
Yeah, he
about
has a
stuff.
really good personality.
Yeah. So I have a question. Do you identify as a YouTuber?
Such a complicated question. um, I like, I don't know, I kind of like the term YouTuber, but at the same
Mhm.
time, I agree with Gabriel Hurdy that I don't want to just be considered like a YouTuber who makes books or a YouTuber who makes art or have
Right.
that as my base definition of human being, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I like it, but I like it as being not the over umbrella term for what I do in my art and all of that, but just kind of one aspect. Like I'm a YouTuber, but I'm also a crafter, I'm also a writer, I'm also an editor, I'm also an optimizer. A lot of different things, but it's not like a YouTuber who does those other things. YouTube's just one of the many. And I think
Yeah.
I like I like YouTuber over, content creator if you're talking about YouTube because YouTube is a very specific thing. It has its own characteristics that no other online video distribution website or service really have. And I think a lot of that is to do with the community and everything that's grown up around it. So when you say, oh, I'm a YouTuber, you're saying I'm a part of the YouTube community. I watch videos, I comment on them, I make friends with people, we talk about different things. So I don't even think you need to make videos to be a YouTuber. You just have to be on the website and talk
Yeah,
to
I completely
people.
agree with that. As long as you're like active in the YouTube community, whether it's like just interacting with YouTubers, that's you're being part of the community.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a very good point. You don't necessarily have to make videos to be active in the community.
Yeah. And I think that is one thing that people, or I think there's some people who think that you're not a YouTuber unless you are, not a small YouTuber.
Yeah,
Like
unless
they,
you're making enough money to support yourself and have like hundreds of thousands of
yeah,
subscribers and
like only those people are YouTubers. Everyone else just makes videos on YouTube, and I think that's wrong. I don't think
yeah, I think that's weird. And YouTuber as a term itself is really complicated because then you end up with the really high-end subscriber music Vivo channels where it's like Beyonce has hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but she's not a YouTuber necessarily. I feel like most people would not say, "Oh, Justin Bieber is my favorite YouTuber."
Yeah. Yeah. That is a
So
good point.
yeah,
And I think again that also has to do with the fact that they're mostly, I mean, Justin Bieber's an interesting example because he kind of started on YouTube, from
yeah,
what I believe, but I think it's if you use YouTube to put your videos on as a distribution platform, but you don't respond to comments and you don't actively use it when you're not just uploading, then I don't think you're really a YouTuber.
yeah. It's more like the channel of a corporation, or that a corporation is running. So
Hmm.
there's no, it's not really run by a YouTuber. I
Yeah.
keep using air quotes. I don't know why.
I think that's also a problem that brands have as well, is they want to be successful on YouTube, but they're obviously a brand, and I think without that single person or that, identifier saying, "Hey guys, welcome to my channel," that someone can connect to and relate to and always come back to see, then it's just going to look like a hub for commercials.
Yeah. It's like the what is it? The Burger King channel. Their official channel only has 40,000 subscribers, I think. I just thought that was so hilarious because I was reading through the comments and hearing people saying, like, "Wow, I have more subscribers than Burger King," which is this massive corporation, but there's no connection. People don't feel a connection with a brand, so they're not as
Yeah.
likely to subscribe to a channel for that brand. At least that's what I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, people subscribe to people.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're bookmarking like a friend, kind of, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, someone who you either relate to or you find really interesting, and I mean, if it's more like a television network and they have a few different shows, then I can see, okay, I'm subscribing to this network of shows that I enjoy watching, but like no one's going to subscribe to see a bunch of commercials unless there's
Yeah.
someone that's hanging out with you each time that you like.
Yeah, brands on YouTube are weird. I feel like that's partly why they're getting so into sponsorship because they can find someone who has a
Mhm.
connection with a large audience.
Exactly, that's why they do it, and those things actually work. Especially if they're done genuinely with people that actually do love that brand, then that's their best bet. And I think they're starting to really understand that a lot. Um, all right, so I have another clip. It is from my friend Asante the artist, and I had the pleasure of meeting her this year at Playlist Live DC. And she went to Harvard for film school, and she's amazing. And
I didn't
uh,
even realize Harvard had a film program.
yeah, well, she's great, and you'll see it from her videos. So I'm just going to show a really short clip from a short video, just to give you a taste. All right.
I am a creative. I am an artist, a designer, a singer, a dancer. I am a sister, a daughter, a family member, a friend. I am a black woman. I'm a Christian. I'm a lifetime Girl Scout. I'm a bit of a fashionista.
So I know that's a really short clip, but I want you guys to go to her channel and watch the whole thing, because it's really great.
Another thing that we had talked about last time was that even YouTubers aren't necessarily full-on YouTubers because there are little smaller communities within YouTube, like BookTube. So
Mhm.
there are a bunch of people who follow YouTube but in a specific focus.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think once you start making videos and for a long enough time and you start building friendships over YouTube and you start doing collaborations with other people, I think you can find your realm, your niche, your sort of your people, and then that's kind of how your channels can develop together. Like that's BookTube. I'm not sure exactly how it started, but I can only guess that someone just wanted to just make a channel about books and talking about reading. Someone else thought that was cool, and then the community sort of built around it of people being like, oh yeah, I want to talk about books. I want to do this. And it's interesting because if you're in the BookTube community, which I am to a degree, it's so huge, and there are definitely varying degrees of well-knownness and levels of fame and everything within it. But yet at the same time, someone over here who has a gaming channel or is in that community is gonna have no idea that any of these people exist. There's so much going on in this space and so many different sub-communities and subcultures and there's some that I've heard of recently that I didn't even know existed that I need to go check out. There's so many little worlds.
Yeah, it's true. Like it's kind of beautiful because YouTube got bigger and it kind of just branched out into all these little sections. And there's like the beauty community. I feel like ASMR is slowly becoming a community as well.
Oh yeah. I've heard of that with like the noises, right?
Yeah. It's almost like a meditation kind of thing.
And like unboxings.
Yeah, unboxing is another huge community. There's also like a toy community.
Yeah,
like,
the toy
people who
community is really
unbox
big.
and show toys and all of these things, which makes sense because it's a younger generation that's getting on YouTube, so they want to see these things.
I heard about a community just the other day that is people take Playmobil toys and they cover them in Play-Doh. And I haven't checked it out yet, but apparently that's it. Like they don't even turn it into anything. I'm not sure exactly, but it's just like you take Playmobiles and you put Play-Doh on them, and that's the thing.
That's so funny. And then there's the weird side of YouTube. I feel like could also be considered a community of its own. Although I don't know how interactive.
That's a broad term.
That's a very broad term. There's
lots of weird sides. There's so many sides. I mean, there's the obvious, like super large, everyone's aware of, which is like the beauty community, gaming community. I feel like comedy and parody is its own thing. Music, vlogging. I feel is kind of it's never really officially categorized as its own thing in any official sense that I've seen, like on YouTube or even like some networks and things. But I think partially that's because it's so vast and hard to define.
Yeah, I almost feel like vlog is kind of applied to all the other stuff. So if it doesn't fit into a beauty video or a gaming video or anything really specific, like if it's just someone talking about their day, that would be considered a vlog.
Or sometimes it's if people take the camera out with them in the real world, going about their day, that's a vlog. Like daily vloggers, that's a community, and that's what they do. So is it a vlog if you're going about your day and taking your camera with you, or is it a vlog if you sit down and have a script that you've written to talk about a particular thing? Is that a vlog? Is that a conversation? Vlog is hard to define.
Vlog is really hard to define.
Yeah, and I always find it difficult to define my channel because I like to try a lot of different things. So I kind of end up going with, oh well, it's a lot of vlogging, but sometimes I'll cook and sometimes I'm doing BookTube.
Or how-to videos. That's another one.
How-to videos. Oh yeah, and how-to is also very big because there's the crafting side of how-to, and then there's the do-it-yourself DIY how-to, like actual instructional videos of how to change the gas in your car, not the gas, the oil in your car, or how to fix your garbage disposal. And those do very well because they're people searching for those things on Google and they find the videos. But then there's, the crafting community where it's like how to do this particular stitch.
Yeah, I do really love how-to videos on YouTube. Just because if you want to know anything, you can just search for it and find it on YouTube, and there's a video with someone telling you how they did it. And some of the most popular videos on my channel are how-to videos.
Yeah, it's so many different little communities.
So many communities. YouTube is huge, and it's just getting bigger too.
Yeah, very awesome. So I'm wondering if we have any questions from viewers who are watching. So I am going to go check that because I haven't actually checked the chat this entire time, but there is a little chat. Um, all right. All right, so let's go through some of these. So Rowan says, I think that at the point where the number of comments is too many for you to meaningfully engage with your subscribers, it's hard to justify seeing yourself as a small YouTuber.
I think that makes sense because then that's your
Yeah.
community is I feel like that's a good representation of the size of your community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when your community is more people than you can reasonably talk to
Engage with.
one-on-one, then yeah, I say you're no longer a small YouTuber at that point. Um, and then Alan says, I think it really depends on the type of brand and the channel they're promoting. So he's talking about the brands and how they go about interacting with their audience. And yeah, it definitely depends. And it depends on what it is, for sure.
I see that Rowan put Dodie sponsored stuff is great, and I completely agree. She's Dottalottle. Her sponsorship stuff is really what like she. I feel like she only chooses sponsorships that she actually believes in, and she makes beautifully sincere videos. There was one where she actually spent time to make a video educating companies on how to approach YouTubers
Mm.
about things like not asking that they put the same video on multiple channels because it would split the views, and like how to actually approach YouTubers and not treat them like another company but as people.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I watched that video.
Yeah, it's a really good video.
Yeah, for sure. Um, all right, and then Alan also says vlog is just a video blog, so both scripted and going out into the world work. Yeah, that is the actual definition, a video blog. Um, and I blog as well, and I find the two worlds very different. So it's interesting that a vlog came out of a video blog, yet the things that I would vlog about, I would definitely approach them differently on my blog.
That makes sense. I feel like it's almost like a video diary kind of thing.
Hmm. Yeah, in a way, definitely some people um, do it as that type of a thing. I think I do sometimes, but not all the time. Definitely different styles you can try out and approaches you can take. I don't think more comments below. I don't think we have any more questions. But yeah, do you have anything else? Anything else you want to say about small YouTubers or BAM or
I guess
anything
I
like
just
that?
kind of want to recommend that if you are a small YouTuber, just try and make YouTube friends. I feel like that's how you are successful on YouTube is just to be interactive in the community, even if it's just commenting on other people's videos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I think collaboration is key
Yeah,
to.
collaboration can be. Oh, that was something that I noticed. Another YouTuber that I really like who is very active in the YouTube community is Leslie Found Her Grail. And I think I noticed that you were on one of her One-Time Stories videos.
Yeah, yeah, I actually met her in person at Playlist Live DC.
Oh, cool. I know she goes to VidCon. I didn't realize she went to Playlist as well.
Yeah, yeah, no, she's really great. She's definitely fun to talk to about YouTube and everything. And yeah, her whole story time, her one-time stories is just a big collaboration each episode, and they're really great. It's very interesting to see how she puts those episodes together and make the stories kind of flow into one video. It's very well done.
I feel like it's a really good representation of the YouTube community too, because she has like I've seen who Charlie is so cool like on one of her videos, and then she has like small YouTubers and I don't know, just members of all communities.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
I feel like it's a good representation.
yeah, definitely. Um, And one thing I wanted to say about collaboration is if you're starting out, if you're a new YouTuber, if you are a small YouTuber, maybe you don't have a ton of YouTube friends, I think, and people tell you this all the time, but start out doing collaborations with people who are kind of in the same boat as you, on
Hmm.
the same road. So, you know, ask people with a similar audience in interaction and kind of within the same group to kind of, get your feet wet, as it were, doing collabs. But I don't think you should be too afraid of asking people who are maybe, you know, much higher than you, I guess, as far as audience goes. I know people tell you not to do that because they might not respond, especially if you aim too high, just because they can't respond to every single thing. But I think it's, I think you shouldn't set yourself like any kind of limit. Like I think you
Yeah,
should
you
try.
shouldn't let numbers intimidate you.
Yeah, exactly. And also I think that goes both ways too. If you
Yeah.
someone who has under your subscriber count or view count wants to collab with you, I think the initial thing people think of is, oh, well, what is that going to do for me?
Yeah, you really shouldn't
It's
look down on other YouTubers who maybe just don't have as many subscribers, especially because that is such a status symbol on YouTube, the amount of
yeah,
subscribers you have.
you can't take it too seriously. Yeah, and I think one thing, if you are a bigger YouTuber and you collaborate with a smaller YouTuber, what you will get out of it is just more experience and also, a potential friend. And people will see that video that's on their channel. And of course, oh, you think that's why they're doing it to get the views, but people will see you in that video, and it's something to add to your collection of collaborations that you've done and things that you've been in. And I think, at least for me, when I approach someone or if I have an idea for a video, I don't pick them based on any like numbers at all. I kind of base it on, I have an idea that's specific to this channel and this person, and I want to make it happen, and I think it's be a great video. And then I send them my pitch, and if nothing happens because they get too many emails or they don't have time, then that's fine. But I still want to, if the idea is there and I think it's a good video idea, I'm gonna ask. So, and
Yeah,
again,
I remember back when I had about 500 subscribers, how intimidating it was talking to Friggin' Boom, because at the time he had just over 7,000, and it was just this, oh my gosh, he has like thousands of subscribers. This is so, like, it was very intimidating. And now, like, I have a couple thousand, and talking to people who don't have that many, who might have like 500 subscribers, I
hmm
see myself on the same level kind of as them. But I remember what that's like talking to someone who has,
yeah,
it seems so much more when you're looking up.
yeah. And but then when you're there, you're like, I'm not like, don't be scared of me. Seriously, I'm so not what you're picturing me as at all. I'm just another person. So let's
Yeah,
talk.
it's weird. Like, I just feel, I don't know, I almost feel like I am just as small of a YouTuber as I was when I had 500
Oh yeah.
subscribers.
Oh yeah, I feel the same way, completely. And I think some of that is actually true because as time goes on, you know, it's you keep if you keep getting more subscribers at the same rate, it's going to mean less over time
Yeah,
because of the time that passes, and the bigger ones keep getting bigger, so each of the numbers like mean less and less. So it kind of you kind of are almost in a way like still kind of feeling that way, like those feelings are valid for
yeah,
sure. But then at the same time, I think people are always kind of going to feel that way, unless if they're like super arrogant and think they're the best thing since sliced bread, then maybe they won't feel that way. But I feel like most YouTubers, no matter how many subscribers they have or how much success they've got, they're still going to feel intimidated to talk to anyone who's even more successful and more up. You're always going to feel like the little guy, at least.
true.
I mean, because there's always going to be someone more successful than you, and there's always going to be someone less successful than you, and no matter where you are in that spectrum, it just you hit your microphone and make big noises. That's what happens.
Yeah, you just gotta roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird to think of people being not intimidated, but I don't know. I guess intimidated by the size of my channel because I just feel like it's small still. I feel like I have a
Mhm.
really small channel,
Mhm. Oh
but a
yeah, me
big part of
too.
it is because I'm comparing myself to these people who have hundreds of thousands of subscribers.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard not to. People say, "Oh, don't compare yourself to others." But it's hard to just sit there and be like, "Okay, I'm living in a vacuum. Everything I do is just fine."
Yeah,
It's it's not an easy
especially because
thing.
like I watch a lot of big YouTubers and like bigger YouTubers who are capable of turning this into an income have enough time to put more work into their videos so their videos are in some ways better.
Yeah, it's
So
definitely
it's like a cycle.
it's a full-time job being
Yeah.
like a career YouTuber. We have some comments. Alan says one of the best things you can do as a YouTuber who is trying to reach a wider audience is to help your friends who are doing the same thing. Definitely, definitely. Because even if who cares about subscriber count or viewer count? If you make more videos, you're in more videos.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. There's just more, and it's always good to just get yourself out there anyway.
I feel like that's part of the reason that gaming channels are so successful because they're capable of putting out a video a day for gaming channels because it's all pretty much improv and
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Scozio says collaboration is a learning experience. Collaboration as a learning experience is an interesting way of seeing it. Yes.
yes, it's
I
very,
have
very true.
learned a lot of things during different collaborations. I've learned how to do very interesting narrative videos with people that live in different states and or countries. And that's something that I find really interesting. Finding new ways, video editing and script writing to work with someone who's in another country without doing like a live show like this. Like this is one way, this one really easy way to collab with someone who's not in the same room as you. But when you try and get a little more creative with it, I feel like that's when I really learn a lot of
Yeah, especially
interesting things.
if there's a written script, then you have to kind of almost write it together so that the clips can be edited together.
Yeah. Yeah, and usually, at least the way I approach collaborations is two videos, one for each channel, and then you do the cross promotion when they both go up at the same time. You link to each other's, that kind of a thing.
Yeah, I feel
Uh,
like
that's pretty standard, I
yeah,
feel.
it's like the standard, like it's common courtesy. It makes the most sense
Yeah.
to kind of like have each person plan out a video.
Yeah, and I mean, again, if there's someone that lives next door and you guys do, challenge videos or tags or what have you, and in the same room, then it's super easy. And I have done things like that before. I'm not putting those down. I'm just saying if you don't live in the same place and you have to do something a little more creative, possibly even narrative, where you write two scripts for two videos but have them connect in some way, like that's when it gets really fun.
It's a little bit more of a challenge.
Yeah, yeah, it is more of a challenge, but I feel like those videos too are like that much more interesting. At least when I look at my own videos of the two different categories, I love the narrative ones
Yeah,
more.
it's just fantastic networking too.
Alan says, I've learned from doing a collaboration that my setup is pretty simple. I did a collaboration with the duo recently, and their video took almost 4 hours to make, while mine was 30 minutes tops.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely, it takes time to make certain videos, but some of them, you know, you can just get it done. It just so depends. It's so different. Everyone works in different ways.
Yeah, I
Um,
feel like it also depends on how scripted or how planned out it is. I feel like the more planning you do, the longer everything else takes.
yeah, or the more prepared you are and the easier it all goes.
Yeah.
There's no way of knowing. You just have to find what works with you, and then again, if you're collaborating with people that you've never worked with before, each time is different. Each time is new, but each time is fun.
In terms of learning experience, this is actually helpful because I've never done Google Hangouts Live before. So this is like a learning experience for me.
Well, awesome. I'm glad I could have you here as my first guest, and I'm glad it
Yeah,
was
it's very
helpful.
helpful. It's very helpful.
Awesome. Well, it is a little past 4 right now, and I know
Yeah,
we
here it's a little past
started a bit
1.
late. Yeah. Do you wanna wrap up the show?
Yeah, sure. Sounds good to me.
Cool.
Or does anyone else have anything they want to ask or say or anything along those lines?
We'll give him 6 seconds to respond. There's a little bit of a delay. Um, we've got some viewers, but yeah. This has been fun. This has been good. I
Yeah,
hope.
it's
I
definitely been a
hope.
learning experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I feel like these shows are gonna get a lot smoother and more polished the more I do them. And I am planning to do a lot more, possibly weekly. I'm not sure if I can manage that, but I'm going to try. So if anyone out there wants to be a guest or wants their videos shown or they have really great ideas for videos that we should air, please, please, please follow the Twitter account and tweet at YT Talk Podcast. Any suggestions, anything like that. If you want to be on the show, let me know. We'll talk. Um, so yeah, thank you so much for joining me, Echo. It was
Yeah,
awesome
thank
talking.
you. It's so nice. Like it's cool being on the first episode, which is just really
Yeah,
intense.
you're part of history now.
Yeah, hopefully it will be a long-running thing, and you'll get to help a lot of YouTubers.
Yeah, everyone should go to Echo's channel and go subscribe to her. Tell them how they can find your channel.
You can find my channel by searching for Echo Gillette, or all across the internet, my username is Echo is Weird because I'm fairly weird. But yeah, you can find my channel by just searching for either Echo is Weird or Echo Gillette.
Yeah,
Excitement. My
awesome.
second channel is Echo is Weird, but my
Nice,
main channel is Echo Gillette.
nice.
Which
Everybody
right
go
there.
subscribe to her.
It looks like this. That's how you spell it. Screen cap it now. Screenshot.
Do it. All right, well, thank you at home, people, for watching and or listening. Um, tweet us your videos, tweet us your channel. I wanna just meet all of you, everybody. I want to watch new videos at YT Talk Podcast on Twitter. Thank you again, and stay subscribed to me, MagicCatJenny, and you'll find out about when we're doing the next show. Thanks
Yeah.
so much, everyone. I will talk to you next time.